Hello, it's Jim Hutchens for the Jerusalem Connection Truth Report for this week. As we continue to consider the name of our God, the name that God gave to himself, claims for himself, namely Yahweh, I want to take a look at a familiar passage. We've heard it quoted. It's from Joel 2:32, where the prophet says, "Whoever calls on the name of the Lord will be saved." That's what it says in English. Now, as we know, Lord, in this case, as so often it is the case, Lord is written in capital letters. And that's the English translation of the Hebrew name for our God, namely Yahweh. Whosoever shall call on the name of Yahweh will be saved. Now, this is quoted in the New Testament. Peter speaks of it on the day of Pentecost in Acts chapter 2. Paul speaks of it in Romans chapter 10, in verse 13, in this famous passage of Romans 9 through 11, where God gives the definitive last word with regard to the Jews and with regard to Israel. This passage from Joel 2 is quoted. Whosoever shall call upon the name of Yahweh shall be saved. But just the preceding verses there, Romans 9, 10 and 11, Romans 10, 9 and 10. It says this, and these are critical verses. It says, if you confess with your mouth Jesus as, and the English says Lord, but in the context it's obviously referring to Jesus as Yahweh. If you confess Jesus as Yahweh, and you believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you will be saved. That's a pretty simple statement. I remember several years ago, I received a phone call from a friend saying that another friend, Sadie was her name, I'd known her, we were on first name basis. She was not in our fellowship, our congregation, but I knew her. And I knew that she had cancer. And this friend was asking me to go see Sadie because it looked like Sadie didn't have much time left. So I went to the hospital to see her. And when I saw her, sure enough, I could tell that time was short. Her head was bald, lost all her hair from chemotherapy. She was barely conscious, her eyes were open. But I came to her bedside, I took her hand, I said, Sadie, it's Jim. And she looked at me. I could tell she recognized me. And I said, you don't have much time, honey. It's getting close. And I think that you need to know what God says about heaven and how to get there. And so with her hand in mine, I said, I want to read you a passage. I turned to Romans 10, 9 and 10, and I said this, Sadie, God says, if we confess with our mouths that Jesus is the Lord, that he is Yahweh, he is God, he is the humanizing, he's the fleshing out of Yahweh. If we confess Yahweh, Jesus as Yahweh, and we believe in our heart that God raised him from the dead, we will be saved. I want to ask you this, Sadie. Do you believe that Jesus is Yahweh? And if you do, I want you to just squeeze my hand. And there was a slight pause, and there was an even slighter squeezing of my hand. And I said, Sadie, do you believe that God raised him from the dead, that he died in our place, that we might receive pardon and forgiveness for all our sins, and that he rose again from the dead? Do you believe that God raised him from the dead? If you do, squeeze my hand. And very slightly, she squeezed my hand. And I said, Sadie, God says you're saved. To be absent from your body is to be present with the Lord. Let's not make it more difficult than it is. You've done what's necessary. You're going to be in heaven. And I think God is saying to us, says to me, says to you, exactly what he is said to Sadie and how she responded. If we confess with our mouths that Jesus is Yahweh and believe in our hearts that God raised him from the dead, we will be saved. And that's the truth.